Yo, yo, Evo in the house. So the first build I'm going to show, this build is one that I use the most out of all the builds. This is my number one go-to. So I'm using the gunner. I was using gunner, but you could also use, I was using survivalist for the protection from elites. I was using this, but I fancied having the 10% armor from kills. So I'm using gunner, but you could also use survivalist from protection for the protection from elites.
I don't know how we keep some of this stuff
Um,
working, but we do.
just make sure you're boosting the weapons that you use and assault rifle, assault machine gun, or a shotgun if you want the second weapon as a shotgun. A shotgun is a good choice though. I could use the rock and roll for the shotgun, then I would change it. But I'm using SMG now.
I need to calm this
Cause
down.
only because sometimes I swap my main weapon for the Ouroboros instead. So and I'm boosting the SMG, but my main weapon is Chameleon. Chameleon is my number one go-to weapon uh, because of the stacks that you build up on it. It just does so much damage once you got full stacks. 90% weapon damage. It's just crazy. You mainly want to concentrate on body shots, but headshots are good as well. And then leg if you've got both of those stats. So I'm using the Chameleon, but you can use pretty much anything. Saint Elmo's is good, or even if you want to go non-exotic, Carbine 7 is a good choice that I found recently. Caretaker is probably my number one named item because of the perfect killer on this build. That is devastating. So if I wasn't using the an exotic, that's probably what I would go for. Yeah, I've got the Lexington, which is also good. Caretaker, that's number one over Lexington any day with that perfect killer, especially on this build, because my stats are not quite max crit chance, but very high crit chance, crit damage, headshot. So the basics of this build is that I was originally using, this was blue I think, or there was another blue, so I was doing,
Incoming backup request.
not now, so I was doing, this has got a blue and a red and a skill. Memento backpack, this is essential for this build because of, you know, the talent where it drops is bonus armor. It drops trophies, you pick them up, you get bonus armor, you get extra weapon damage and skill efficiency. Um, but if you haven't got this backpack, you could probably use. I mean, you could use one that's not named and just use adrenaline rush. You could use something like you could use a striker backpack. You could use a striker backpack, or you could use any other backpack and put adrenaline rush on it. Not this. Well, you could use this backpack for total armor as well. So the Gillar Guard would work with adrenaline rush. That would be good. Or you could use Bloodsucker. Bloodsucker is good as well. Um, so this is the setup. So I've got Memento backpack for the talent, which is good. I've got the striker. I want the chest on the striker because of it'll increase the stacks from 100 to 200. The backpack, it's effective, the striker backpack, but the chest is more important over the backpack. So, and there's no way I want the memento. So I've gone for the striker chest. I've got the 4-piece striker, and then the Fenris holster. There are other options you could do with the holster, but I just want the 10% assault rifle damage. I've tried to keep crit chance on damage on pretty much everything. I've got this one's got the weapon damage, armor, and skill. It's got all three. So we've got one armor there, one armor there, and one armor there. So I've got 3 armors, and then weapon damage on the others. 3 weapon damage, 4 weapon damage, and 3 armor. But you could change one of these to armor if you wanted to be a little bit stronger, which would still work because the memento, you're picking up the extra damage, so it would still work just fine if you wanted to be a little bit stronger. But I got quite confident with this build, so I made it a little bit more aggressive. So just try and keep crit chance, crit damage on everything. This is a crit chance build. It's all about crit chance, especially with this as well. Because of the talent, it's just with a crit chance build like this, it's absolutely crazy. That's the best weapon I would pick for this build, but you could use anything. Eagle Bearer, St. Elmo's. St. Elmo's is that's probably the number 2 choice. Bighorn works. I mean, you could use the Ouroboros, you are boosting the SMG, but there is a different setup to this if you wanted to go Ouroboros. I could show you the other setup. There's Sokolov. So you could use Sokolov instead for the holster. That's SMG damage. Same thing. Weapon damage, crit chance, crit damage. But it's got SMG damage instead. So I could use that. And then it's because of the speciality, you're boosting the assault rifle and the SMG, but with that you're doing more SMG, so you could switch to the Sokolov and use the Ouroboros. Or, you could use some, I don't know if I've got it on me, but you could use some named Slingshot is very good. Slingshot is good. Where's the other one? Wait, was it already equipped? Yeah, Purist. Purist is probably my number 1 named SMG because it's got that. That's a good talent. But yeah, so you've got you could do the SMG version, or if you want the assault rifle. LMG as well, Petrov. Those stats are not right. I mean, they need to be full. Crit chance and skill haste needs to be damage really. But you could get away with just skill haste, but as long as it's got crit chance. So Petrov, you could use Petrov instead to have an LMG setup. Fenris for an assault rifle setup. And then Sokolov for the SMG. For me, it's the chameleon. I'm all about the chameleon, so it's the assault rifle. Okay, so that's the striker setup. I prefer to have a reviver, so if I do go down, I get straight back up. It just gives you an extra chance. Plus, you can also throw that at your teammates to get them up if you need. And I always like having a shield. A shield keeps you out of trouble. Your shield does go down. Yeah, it's not gonna take much damage, but if you get caught out, you could pull your shield up and then look for cover if you need it. or with a lot of the time, with this build, when this comedian's built up its stacks, I could put the shield up in front of a named boss, and with that full stacks plus with the bonus armor and doing extra damage, I can get through a boss on heroic in about 6 seconds with full stacks and bonus armor. So I could step out in front of him, or I could shoot from cover, do a little bit of damage, off, take the edge off his armor, couple of blocks off his armor, and then step out in front of him, pull the shield up, and finish him off. I could do that when you got full stacks. So you take out a couple of lesser enemies to build up the stacks, and then just take the boss out. But this build is just, if it doesn't suit your playstyle, just adapt it to however you want. If you want more armor, if you want less armor, you want it more aggressive. For me, this is how I would always use it. On legendary, if I was doing legend, I could probably get away with this. I'd probably get away with this, but maybe I could do one extra blue or 2 extra blue and still get away with that on legend. But yeah, I've got quite a lot of confidence with this build, so I could probably, as this is, I'll take this into legend and I'll be alright. But there's other builds I would use, which I'm gonna do videos for as well. But this is my number one striker build. The pistol, I prefer the orbit, but because of the talent, 'cause it's also a crit talent. So, but you could use anything. You could use anything like you could use any gun, but you could use a gun with sledgehammer. Sledgehammer, where you throw a grenade and you do extra damage. It just gives you another option. So you could throw a grenade and then do a bit of extra damage. But I don't really use the pistol much. This is all about the comedian for me. But that's that build anyway. So I'm going to be doing more builds. But this is just a base build. If you get on with it, it's perfect. But if not, just adapt it to how you want to, your own game style. Cool. And also the stats. As long as you've got a crit chance over, I'd say 50. As long as you've got it over 50, try and keep it nearer to 60, or even if you can get it higher. But as long as it's over 50, you'll be doing well at this. And I always try to keep the crit damage 59 or mid 50s and 90, 80 to 90 on crit damage. Is the balance. That's where you want it. I've got a 59 and 92. That's perfect for me. It's all about this build is all about these two. I do go for headshots a lot anyway, but this is all about these two. Right. So that's that build. On to the next one. Peace.